Alright, welcome back to my channel. My name's Soph, and in this video, we're going to be covering how to set up your custom domain for email marketing inside of the Go High Level White Label CRM. In this tutorial, we're going to be going over how to set up your custom email sending domain in your Go High Level and our white labeled online business automator account. So this is applicable regardless of what version you have, if you have a white label or if you are going direct to GHL. What we're going to do here is we're going to go over to our email services in our settings. So again, settings down below and then email services. Inside of this, we're going to go ahead and click on over where we can see here, you won't likely have this. There will be a pop-up that's going to show up that's going to say, hey, add a dedicated sending domain. And when you do that, you're going to go ahead and click add service, and you're going to click on, not that one, the dedicated domain IP, and it's going to invite you to go ahead and add a domain. The domain that you want to add, and this is a very, very, very important part, if you are using Google, Gmail, Outlook, any other email provider, do not, I'm going to pause here, do not put in your domain like this, because this will break your email sending. Do not do this, okay? You need to put in some form of a subdomain for this to connect to both your Gmail and our Outlook, while also allowing you to connect to the system so you can send emails and receive emails on both platforms simultaneously. A subdomain requires this, this text here as the subdomain, the prefix, okay? And this can be as short as long as you want. My recommendation is to do something simple like lc.yourdomain.com or mg, rsk, whatever makes sense for you. It doesn't really matter what is the prefix and what goes here, as long as you have something that is going to be a unique domain name that you're not currently using. So please be sure, do not put your full domain in here. Do not put yourdomain.com. You have to put a prefix in front of that. I know it sounds like I'm being obnoxious with this, but you cannot imagine the amount of times that we've had to go back and say, hey, you didn't do this correctly. So this is why we're harping on it. Once you figure out what that's going to be, you're going to click add and verify. Now, Go High Level has built in some cool tools that will automatically integrate the DNS records for you, specifically if you're using things like Google Domains and our GoDaddy. So if you're hosting your domain on either one of those platforms, congratulations, it will automatically do that when you click add and verify. If that's not the case, then you're likely going to see a screen that's going to look something like this. So we're going to go ahead and go over to our DNS records here. Great, which is called the verify domain, and it's going to give you a bunch of different terms here in which we need to incorporate in order to verify and validate our email sending address. Now, if you're not familiar with DNS records, and this is something that sounds like a completely foreign language to you, please contact whoever your main domain provider is, wherever you purchased your domain, and that's where it's being hosted. If that doesn't make sense to you, then please reach out to wherever you purchased your domain and ask for support with your tech support platform. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive on in, and we're going to go through these different domain record types. These are called DNS records, and DNS record stands for domain name server records. So what we're doing is we are copying, these are the different types of records. So we've got TXT, CNAME, MX, okay? And then we've got the host name. So this is what we're putting at the prefix. And then we've got the values where it's sending to, and this will tell us whether or not it's been verified. Now, we prefer to host all our domains on siteground.com. Again, awesome service, but there's a ton out there. It's not the main one you have to use. So give us a sec, we're gonna log in here, and then we're gonna show you what the backend looks like. All right, so we actually have this on Kinsta, which is where we're currently hosting this site, in particular because of the volume of traffic that it gets. Otherwise, we do recommend SiteGround for lower volume sites that do not get a whole lot of traffic or aren't as complex. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go over to our domain itself, and we want to scroll until we see the ability to create and edit our DNS records. So every platform, whether you're using GoDaddy, Cloudflare, wheelhouse, whatever they are, they're going to have a different interface. So you're going to need to familiarize yourself or look at tutorials specific to the platform you use and come in here, and then we're going to go ahead and add in a DNS record. Now, when I'm looking at my account on the back end here, what I'm seeing is there's one DNS record I actually haven't added, which is a TXT for our DMARC. So I'm going to go ahead and add this in. I'm going to copy this prefix here. I'm going to look and create a TXT record on the back end. So add a DNS record. I'm going to click on TXT. I'm going to copy that prefix, that host name here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the content and the value that I am pointing it to. So that's going to be this part here. I'm going to copy this value, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paste it here. And then I'm going to click add DNS record. Now, DNS records can take a little time to propagate, so it's not always going to be instantaneous that you're going to see this change take place and you're going to be able to verify that process. So please be sure to give it some time if it doesn't verify right away. Now, just for fun, we're going to go ahead and look at these. I'm going to show you quickly how to look at all of the different ones that you've got here. So you've got our CNAME record. The process is going to be exactly the same. Add a DNS record, click on the type, put the subdomain or the host name here, and then where it's pointing to is going to be that second value. The only one that's a little different that has an extra variable is going to be your MX records, in which case it has a priority number. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick. We're going to go over here, we're going to click on MX, and here it is, that priority option. This is where you'll go ahead and copy whatever that number is. In this case, that number is a 10 and a 10, and then we can copy this prefix, the host name, that's going to go here at the beginning in the host name, and then points to whatever that record is here. Now, I already have these records on my account, which is why I'm not adding them again. And then once we've added all of those records successfully, be sure that you hit save if you need to. And then finally, we're going to come back over to the back end here, and we're going to verify the domain. When we verify the domain, you may need to do this a few times if it doesn't verify the first time. So just click here, click verify domain again, and then go through that process and continue to verify. When it's fully verified, you're going to see all green check marks, which is exactly what we want. And then again, check on this again so that you can get your SSL issued. When you have all of this completed, it will look like this, which is great. And then the final step here is going to be doing two more things. Number one, we want to look at the domain settings and make sure that you have both of these variables toggled on for tracking both clicks and open rates. Next, we want to click here one more time, and we want to actually look at the headers so that we can set up the custom headers for email sending, which is going to be what it's going to show when we send emails. So this will save you time in the long run. That way you're not having to put this in every time you're sending an email. It will automatically do it for you. Finally, we can come over here and we can look at any of the actual SMTP settings. If this is a foreign language, just skip this part here, not necessary, but for those of you that are more advanced, SMTP can be managed inside and you can create SMTP users here. Finally, we're going to go over to the domain configuration settings, and this is where you can choose what domains that you actually want to be sending for. Now, in this case, I have two different domains that I use, one for my personal brand and one for the company, in which case I want to actually split traffic 50-50. So I can choose how I want to send messages and what's going to be the dedicated sending domain that I'm going to be using. If you just have one domain and you don't have multiple businesses, then that's totally fine. You can just add your main domain to all of these, which will make it the default sending domain whenever you're sending emails from your account. Finally, we're going to go ahead and click at the very top where it says back to SMTP up here. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring us back to the final sending component, which is where we started initially at the beginning of this video. And we're going to set up our reply and forward settings. So our reply and forward settings are where we go when we want to make sure that emails are getting forwarded to the right email address, if we want to forward them to the assigned users, if we want to BCC anyone in particular, and of course, who we want the reply address to be on all of the emails that we send. The reply address is simply known as the address that you are using to go ahead and send emails to in regards to if they reply to that email, where's it going to go? So once you've set all of this up, then you are good to go with all of your custom domain sending, and that is everything that you need in order to get rocking and rolling on Go High Level. If you enjoyed this video, as always, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to see more content and our tutorials that you'd like to request, as always, comment down below, let us know, and we'd be happy to create this for you. If you are looking for a white label option of Go High Level, feel free to check out our platform. It's called theonlinebusinessautomator.com, where you can go ahead and explore everything that Go High Level has to offer through our lens, which is an SEO-based marketing approach. That's it for today, folks. If you enjoyed this, let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.